caravan. You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need, and not what you don't.
This is insane. This is insane.
Quality, quantity, and variety.
ROCKFLUX.
Let's get this show on.
Okay.
Good morning.
And it's time once again for the show that never ends. We're over that Halloween thing, and we're moving into something different. And everything you know is wrong. Just beyond the everything you know is wrong. There's like a Santa hat up there. See that? Because the title of this show is, and I did not put the title card in. The title of the show is "'Tis the Season," and I know this drives some people crazy. Okay, but the idea here, there is a method to this madness, and we'll get to it in a little while. Okay, so don't get crazy. Trimmed my beard a little bit. It's still a little scruffy, but you can't see it under the light. I just took my pill. It's 4:20, which is 4:20 a.m., which is a time for some people, usually in the afternoon, though, that is that they usually have a certain substance. Coffee's hot for the time being. I had a headache all night long. This has happened to me before, and I still have slight headache. So I don't know if I'm dying, too many x-rays and CT scans. It's a brain tumor, or I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have a blood sugar problem, and if I did, that would have went away because I just had like some frosted mini wheats. I only have 3 of my amoxicillins left. So I swear I had that figured out 10 days. I got to look at my calendar quick here. No, that's not going to help. Let me quit this calendar. Let's look at the one on the wall. Let's see. If I was there on Tuesday, and I took it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think they shorted me a couple of pills. There's only 3 pills left. I just took one. Today's Monday. I'll take 2 more. That'll take me to Tuesday morning. That's only like 9 days. That's less than 9 days. And it said 30 on the thing. So this whole nightmare has like gotten worse. And how am I going to prove that? I should have counted the pills when I came home. I trusted the pharmacist. Doctor's not going to back me up, especially since I'll probably be proceeding with them. Anyway, lots of stuff to report on today, but before we get into anything crazy,
funky,
anything too funky, let's go and deal with
The Weather Watch forecast.
As you can see, and if you've been following this show day by day, the country, the former U.S., has been systematically clearing up, bit by bit. There's still some clouds coming up through, Tennessee, West Virginia, into Pennsylvania, slightly up through the upstate New York, into the upper reaches of New England. And there's some stuff in the Great Plains going on. Some clouds that just look like they're totally windblown. Something coming or happening off the coast, west coast. But pretty much, everything looks good. Looks like there might be a good sunrise down in the Carolinas because there's like this cloud buildup off the coast. I don't know if they're too far out to make a difference or not. But, yeah, it's going to be cold in a lot of places. I was just outside. It felt very refreshing. I went out there to breathe some fresh air and fix this divider I have between me and the psychotic neighbor. It's 48 degrees outside of my studio. The high today is going to be 48, and it's like 70% chance of rain, so it's supposed to be rainy and 48. Tonight it goes down to 37. Tomorrow it goes down. This is, I want to give you, like I say, I'm in one of those zones in the former United States that are very hard to classify, right? Because, some people might say it's mid-Atlantic state. Some might say it's like east of the Ohio Valley. Some might say it's the northern Appalachians. It's really weird. It's hard to say. Like I say, I'm like an hour away from one of the entrances to the Appalachian Trail, the Northern Appalachian Trail. So anyway, that's the general vicinity. In fact, where those clouds are, I'm somewhere up there in the northern area of that. I'm midway through there somewhere. Anyway, listen to the forecast for me, and this would apply to most people in this latitude, in this area, especially and without any cloud cover, that's how you have a cold night. The clouds hold in the heat, These are these basic things that these climate crisis people never think about. When it's cloudy, when you have a low cloud cover, a thick cloud cover, it's usually going to be a warmer night because the heat rises and it can't escape. But when it's a clear, starry night, you're going to get, it's going to be its coldest. Well, anyway, here's the deal. Tonight in my area, it goes down to 37, and it's going to rain. And there's a good possibility that could turn to snow. Tomorrow, there's a 40% chance of a thunderstorm. However, if that happens, that could well be snow. Because the overnight, the high's 45, but the overnight's 30 degrees. But here's where it gets crazy. Wednesday, the high's 43, at night is 28. Thursday, the high's 45, at night is 30. Friday, the high's 45, and at night it's 28. So basically, starting tomorrow, we're talking below freezing Fahrenheit every night. Okay? So now you might understand the title card on my thing today.
The Weather Watch forecast.
Yeah, tis the season. It's coming early. See, the conveyor is slowed down, and all that volcanic ash that's going up there and the grand solar minimum and all that stuff, this is happening, man. This is the real thing. Now, if you're down south, you're like, it's hot, and you don't realize this. And these people, all these climate crisis people that are all at these resorts and going to the islands and all this kind of stuff, they don't get it, right? This is a northern latitude, or at least like the tilt where we are tilted now, but it's specifically northern latitudes on both sides of the Atlantic where that conveyor is, because the conveyor has slowed down, and that's what warms the northern latitudes, right? That's why Europe, see, England should not be, if you talk to somebody in the UK, it's like they don't say, well, it's not exactly hot here. But England shouldn't be as warm as it is. England should be more like Svalbard. And it's going to be. All right? It's going to be. And the same with lots of parts of Europe. Because as that conveyor slows down, all right? Now, we are heading into a grand solar minimum, okay? So that's a cooling time, period, All right. You've got an uptick in volcanic activity, which is spewing, I mean, you can immeasurable amounts of ash into the atmosphere. Immeasurable amounts of ash, which are deflecting, all right, the minimal solar rays, heat from our star, okay, right? And just like we had that X flare yesterday, which, you know, I told you, I predicted exactly that. I said it wasn't going to be a catastrophic event, but it was going to be a magma heating event. You see? So, you know, it's November 1 in the year 1521 from my perspective, but 2021 from the way you people try to look at it. But you understand, it is below freezing. Now, they will try to blame this on climate change. Global warming, but they knew, because they do know. They're not as idiotic as you think. These people are methodical, and, you know, they have a plan. This is fear. They're fear-mongering. They're trying to mess with us. All right? They don't like us. They don't want us on this planet. They want us to die. That's why they released this bioweapon. All right? And they keep releasing it, because that thing should have just fizzled away like all the other ones have. You know, even the one that happened over 100 years ago, it would have fizzled away by now. So somebody's releasing more of it. That's the truth, man. Think about that. You know, either that or we're all fucking doomed, and this is the plague of not the plague of the century, but the plague of death, right? The biblical apocalyptic plague. All right? You choose it. It's Occam's razor. What's the most likely? And of course, there's a lot of people out there say, well, it's more likely this apocalypse, right? But that's the point. So, yeah, cats living with dogs. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's pretty crazy what's going on. So, I'll give you a quick look at my glow room. You know, this is actually almost worse than yesterday. This is a kale plant. Next to it is what is that? It was supposed to be a lettuce plant, I think. I don't know. There's an old basil on the other side, but that's not what's in there. That's like a recycled, thing. But anyway, like I said, this is the light at the top. That black bar coming across is a grow light. And it's like this reds, deep reds, glow, So I just colorized it and threw some green in, just because with the red, you couldn't see anything, because red and black, it just blurs all together. It's another printer's little secret. If something's red and you print it in black and white or make a copy of it, that red's going to come out pretty close to black. And you never print, one of the biggest mistakes people make is, on their computer, which is backlit, is they'll have like this red background, and on top of it they'll put black type, and on the computer they'll think, hey man, that looks pretty cool. And yeah, and it's cool for a website with a backlit screen or even on a smartphone. But if you're making a billboard or a sign or a flyer, when that's printed, the black and red are so close, you don't get that contrast. In fact, a trade secret is that the most readable for the human eye is black ink on yellow. And that's why in the old days they used to have the yellow pages, because the yellow paper and the black ink, that was the thing. And if you're making and you could do this to this day, if you're a business person, you want to put a billboard out, you want it to be seen, really seen, put the background yellow and put the type in black. People don't know that. The most basic things. That's the kind of things they should be teaching people, right? Instead of this revisionist history. But anyway, this kale plant, it's almost in stasis, like suspended animation. It's not really getting bigger or anything. I don't know what to do. I don't know if a bigger pot will make a difference, because I have noticed in the yard the kale roots don't get particularly big. They end up growing like palm trees. I don't know if you're a gardener and you know that. This breed of kale. So it's not so much the size of the pot, which is fairly decent enough for that. So I don't know. I'll add some fertilizer or whatever and just try to nurture this. But I'm hoping I'll be able to start taking some leaves off this in the winter. If not, at least it's growing. But with those kind of temperatures outside, it's going to be very hard for me to maintain. These are on my back porch, which isn't really a porch. It's just the walkway from my kitchen to the back rear steps. And I do have a heater in there and some grow lights, but when it gets down to 28 degrees, when it's below freezing, it's hard to keep that room, You don't want your temperature, with plants, you don't want your temperature going below 50 degrees, basically. Now, kale could take that. Could take like 40s, and it just like doesn't do anything, but it doesn't die off. But, in fact, they'll winter over and grow the next year, kale plants. You get 2 years out of a kale. They're biannuals. But everything else, once you get below 50, it's like, especially if you're trying to do vegetables. Green, leafy things, you're kind of okay. The catnip seems to survive it. It just won't flourish. Now, I do have the room where I have the radiator. I think I could keep that temperature 50. It's like it's the closet off the porch type of area. So it's a little more, well, I tried to insulate it, but I did the best I could. So, yeah, this is crazy time. So 'tis the season, man. That's what I'm saying. 'Tis the season. So Santa's up there. He's getting ready, and he's got his hat, and I got my hat. You can't see it. I'm going to have to put that in a better place. Maybe I should replace the, military accoutrement uniform stuff with a Santa hat. Or the banana thing. Look at my face. Do I look like an old fogey to you? It's a weird thing. My face changes on these videos all the time. It's crazy. Yeah, so it is the season. Anyway, let's, what was the daily photo? Oh, the scream's still left over. What do we want to do? Music first, or should we do the news? Well, let's do the news. I'm going to be out of the picture for this because I want to show you this. We talked about, Facebook turning to Meta, because they want to create this metaverse. And they have this, now this has happened before this, but I mean, this is all leading up, and obviously they've been in communications with Meta, Facebook, whatever. They were in communication with Facebook before. This is what Ray-Ban is doing. These things start at about $299. They go into the $300, and there's different styles of glasses you can get. Sorry about that. I had to take a sip. Now, there's three things. Don't expect me to push the button. This is a screen capture. In fact, I screen captured and then had to cut and paste like the motion of the effect. So the idea is they have dual 5-megapixel cameras. Now you say 5 megapixels, no big deal. Well, obviously that could easily be upgraded. Audio, they have the part of the, the part that goes on your ear is your audio. And there's a touch control, which I didn't bother showing, but on the side of the glasses, on the side of the side of the glasses, you see like on the first one where it says Ray-Ban, if you would go left of that, further down, halfway down, there's like a little thing you could touch. And then these things, so discrete open ear speakers allow you to seamlessly switch between talking, a call, and ordering a coffee. The built-in microphone captures sound in all directions, so you get rich voice and sound quality for calls and videos. Pause your song, take a photo, or record a video in a single touch with a hyper-responsive touchpad capture button. And like I say, that's right on the side. Take photos and videos hand-free and stay immersed in the moment. Capture from a first-person perspective and enjoy consistently high-quality content thanks to the automatic light adjustment and stereoscopic photo depth. And as you can see below, the case is a charger. You can't tell that, but it is. And then they're showing a smartphone on the right, where, this works obviously in tandem with your smartphone. Okay. But if you've watched Zuckerberg's presentation, his goal is, like he said, is to eliminate as much of the hardware as possible. And so the real battle, so this is news because I've been talking about this and I'm egging this on, man, is that while at the current time, this is the war between Tim Cook and Mark Zuckerberg, between Apple and what's now Meta, okay? The idea is they're saying what I've been saying, Zuckerberg is saying what I've been saying all along, is that the smartphone is over. And that's why Apple's new smartphones are just glorified cameras. All right. I mean, yeah, they run apps and all that kind of stuff, but so will the eyewear, Oculus, and then eventually there's a company called Mojo. All right. In fact, let me get that. Should have done this. New window. If it's worthwhile, so this is called Mojo contact lens. All right. And what I'm going to do, if I can do it, this site is really... Okay, I'm just going to give you this thing because I'm not going to waste a lot of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a still of this to let you understand. See, because I say these things and what happens is people they really don't understand what I'm talking about. And they think it's far-fetched stuff like way in the future. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to, even though nobody watches this show, I'm the fortunate ones that have done this. By the way, I guess I should say, Season's Greetings. The name of the show is 'Tis the Season. I said that already. Okay. Now, let me put, where is that thing? Oh, there it is. Patience with me, folks. It's a long show. We'll just call it Mojo. I put it in here. And what I'm going to do is this will be considered our daily photo because this is an important thing. And this goes in tandem. That's why I tell you, these shows are not that easy to put together. And it's 4:43 in the morning, 4:42, I think, somewhere around that time. And I still had some leftover stuff from, the extended version of Halloween. All right. So, and by the way,
you're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Did you get your mug? Yeah. 'Tis the season. Order. They make great gifts. All right, so Mojo Vision developing first true smart contact lens. Company is working to bring invisible computing to consumers, enterprises, and more. Mojo is building the world's first true smart contact lens called Mojo Lens. Mojo Lens is a contact lens with a built-in display that gives people the useful and timely information they want without forcing them to look down at a screen or losing focus of the people and world around them. Now, what you have to understand is like what I was just trying to say here, okay? You've got Ray-Ban here in the background, okay? You know, not everybody wants to put a contact. You know, I'm like kind of, I'm not into like, you know, I'm kind of like, I don't wear glasses. I mean, you know, I'm wearing glasses, then I say I don't wear glasses. I don't. They're reading glasses. I need, you know, like I say, and once you reach a certain age, you know, if you're under the age of 40, you don't know what I'm talking about, and you might be in denial. But trust me, once you hit 40, and I'm over 40, once you hit 40, you need glasses to read small type. All right, you're, you know, but your vision, like I was always farsighted. I don't wear glasses to walk around in the world, my house, to do things. You know, I don't need them. All right. Or to basically look at, you know, like I say, I have to like pull these things off if I want to read something, you know, on the wall, a calendar or something. Okay. But so to me, it's kind of icky putting in a contact lens, right? But it might be something that I could adjust to. And if you want to go do a search on YouTube, you know, you could see more of this. Their presentation, like I think what I happen to catch, the reason I know about this, you know, this is from last year, 2/26/20. So they already got, you know, they're a year and a half into this. They're beyond this breaking news promo thing. And I think I saw one of the video, which was like their presentation for VC or whatever, you know, venture capital. And I believe that was a little older too. But that's starting to make the rounds. But these things, they're going forward with these things. These things are out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people wearing them right now. Not a lot, but I mean, they're being worn. Just like the Ray-Ban glasses, okay? This is the future. And you're not going to like this. This is the past. Okay. Oh, by the way, there's that glitch in the matrix thing. See, the mirror within the mirror within the mirror within the mirror. You have to really contemplate that. That's kind of like the calculating pi and infinity, right? Because that goes on infinite, right? There's no, you know, it's like the Big Bang. What happened before the Big Bang, right? How small can you go? How much space is there between, right, a certain specific measurement? How microscopic, right? These are the questions that are unacceptable that we don't have the answers for. And people just like, I don't want to think about that. They act like like a cat or a dog, right? You know, or a dog or a cat, sees you doing some strange thing. Like my cat just goes upstairs because it does not understand why, what am I doing? At first, it used to be around and be like as if, crying, like, what are you doing? Now it's just like, they get that point. I can't figure this out. Boom. My brain's not big enough. I can't calculate it. So I let it go. And humans are like that too, but they don't have to be. All right. They don't have to be. And modern physics, this is getting on a little tangent, but see, the what's happening now is advanced science, okay? We're in a corporatocracy, though, in a sense that at the head, remember I said, for those who don't understand or don't pay attention to me, okay. The head of the pyramid, okay, of power isn't the all-seeing eye, all right, which plays in with us looking at this contact lens and even having, the idea of glasses and talking about this in this way, because the eyes are very important in this future tech, okay? But the all-seeing eye and I think for once, because I don't usually have them, but I think I happen to actually have $1. I rarely have them, like cash, but that's about all I own is $1. Okay, so, the people love to get into this Illuminati stuff, all right? And so it's blurry because this is an older Apple, and I believe this camera is only like 720 or something. The new ones are like 1080 finally. Oh, and by the way, my bad tooth is over here, but just as I predicted, here all the way through here is now sensitive to coffee and is painful from that, her having dug out, this hygienist having done this teeth cleaning, and I'm actually experiencing like tooth pain now. And I may well for the rest of my life. This thing keeps getting worse and worse. So today I have to deal with the idea that I apparently was shorted like a day and a half of the pills, of the antibiotics. There's no one in this house. No one comes in this house. It's me and my cat, and I have a sealed, the thing I take the pills is sealed. That didn't fall on the ground or anything like that. All right? It's high up. Cat never touched it. Nothing. And I'm looking and I'm going, I went there on a Tuesday. I came back and I took 2 that day only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not even 8, because I only took 2 that first day because it was later on in the day. 8. So 8 and 1. So I'm shorted 7 pills. Because I should have been taking, or at least 4 pills, I guess. 8. Yeah, 4 pills. You know how they say, take these pills till they're all done. And it says right on it, 30 pills. It was a 30-pill prescription. And I still can feel sensitivity here. Right? So I know that the infection's not gone. I'm fucked. Anyway, let me tell you what's going on in the future, because if I die and I disappear, at least you're no shit that nobody's talking about. People are giving you pieces of this. But they're not giving you the full picture, okay? So that all-seeing eye that these two stupid idiots like Alex Jones and stuff, I was broadcasting at the same time as Alex Jones in the 90s, okay? And he was saying stupid shit back then, and I was talking sensible. And I still have my shows. I played some of those things for you. Where do we have that song? Shows.
Welcome to another Tony Caravan Live. Tonight I'll be doing something a little bit different. Rather than focus on the...
You see? That's a show. That's like over a 20-year-old show of mine. I still have copies of them. Because I found a kind of a semi-secret way of translating real audio files. Because the real audio doesn't exist anymore. And that's what we used to use back then. They killed it off. Just like I was talking about yesterday. How they keep changing technologies. So, they try to erase all that stuff. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you because I talked about a technology that I had, an app I was using or I didn't have to watch commercials on the internet, and it was seamless. It was blocking the commercials, and I mentioned it, Now, I don't know if you remember it, and I'm not going to say it again. And somehow the company, they figured it out, and now there's a pop-up. But for almost a year, I was able to watch anything I wanted to. You know how you could get free, you could go to these websites of stations, and it's like they're, watch their TV show, like the, series. I don't watch the news or any of that kind of stuff. But, series I might be interested in. But there's like a million commercials when you watch it on the internet, through the internet, right? I had this thing, and it was blocking the commercials, but it was seamless. Somehow, it didn't even allow the signal. So the way it works, I'm on a little tangent, but I just want you to understand technology. People don't understand technology and why technology is the eye. See, in radio, most radio stations are automated these days. Like they're basically coming from some source, There's like companies called Westwood One or, whatever. They're these networks. And the satellite downlinks into the radio station. And the radio station has a computer system, has a satellite receiver that's tied into a computer system. And they program that computer system with their local commercials. And then there's areas where they could break in, But even when it sounds very human, like, you're listening to a show and like a DJ and it says, hey, it's Tony coming. Tony, you're listening to Tony Caravan Live, the morning vlog. It's, and the thing is, that's pre-recorded and that's fired. In other words, that's what you call it. They're firing these. So satellite sends this inaudible signal down at these key points, and they will fire a commercial, a station ID, what people call liners, drops. It's all kinds of jargon that's used in the business for various things. Like stuff like this.
ROCKFLUX Live.
That would be like there would be a thing that came down and you have your computer program so that comes on, or this would come on.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Right. And the same with a commercial break. And then this commercial break comes on and they have national commercials, and then another inaudible signal comes in, and that's when your local commercials are fired. Right. They call it, we used to call it, that's what they call it. And then they're played. Right. And that's how everything works. That's how they do all this stuff, right? And that's how the internet works too, with commercials. In other words, you're watching, I don't know, some series, okay, and through one of the TV stations, right, on the internet. And when the commercial comes in, what happens is that commercial's pulled from, in the old days, it used to be, it used to be CGI, but CGI now is considered, special effects in movies and stuff. So it's confusing, but it was a computer graphics interface, and it was also a server side, like directory where you would store things. And then you could access that. Something would be accessed through that server, okay? And it used to be like a CGI thing, okay? Well, anyway, I don't know how they do it now, but it's probably similar. It's just probably, way updated. I'm talking about we did 25 years ago. And so that signal brings the commercial in, and what this thing did was it ignored the signal, and it just kept playing the show. See, in other words, because it's on your computer, it just ignored it. And so the show was seamless. You didn't even know that there was supposed to be a commercial break there. It's pretty neat. But I talked about it one time, and like I say, anything you talk about, man, is like, suddenly that information is out in the algorithms and whatever, and so I'm not going to tell you about some of these other you can't talk about all this stuff, all these secret things. But anyway, one thing I will tell you about is that, yes, this, as I said in a couple previous shows, this is obsolete. And Apple's presentation this year is proof of that. I mean, and the leaks from like the iPhone 14 are even further proof of it. In other words, all they're putting out is a glorified frickin' camera. All right? And they're just trying to keep this revenue stream coming in and getting people to buy more of these and keep that, you know, those hundreds of billions of dollars, that flow coming in. And stupid parents buying these for their kids who have no concept of tech, the future, or whatever. And the kids who don't know what I'm talking about right now. You didn't know about Mojo Vision developing. But look at the date on this. This is from Business Wire last February. Like last February a year ago. All right? Around the time that the thing, you know, was just starting to get publicized. Right? So this got totally like bypassed. Over. But I've seen their VC presentation. And I've seen what this thing is capable of doing. It's fucking amazing. All right? It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, you know, Tesla's got these implant in the brain. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. If you take, I mean, if you want to wear you have a choice. You put in the Mojo Vision, okay, contact lens if you don't mind. If that's a turnoff for you, you get these like Ray-Ban or some kind of glasses, and they're available in prescription if you're an eyeglass wearer. Same with that thing, okay. So if these were they are prescription, but they're reading glasses. That's all they are. They're not my normal street glasses. So I would have to just get regular glasses, right? And, you know, I would prefer, and I think they'll be coming out. You see how there's a metal rim on the bottom here? It goes up. Well, imagine if that metal rim defining line wasn't there. And also, you see, these are reading glasses, so you could kind of see a little distortion, you know, like it's magnifying. It almost looks like I have like big things under my eyes, you know, right? Because they're magnifiers. Because I'm looking at very tiny print. It's just the way it's the GUI, with the graphical user interface that I'm dealing with, is small print. Because in order to fit it all on all of this shit, I have to look at. Right? It'd be different if I was just using like most of these clowns, they just stand there and they, you know, have a teleprompter in front of them in a studio. Right? So they don't need, I wouldn't be wearing glasses either. I would just, you know, because a teleprompter would be far enough away, I could read distance, you know, or I'm winging it, so I don't even need a teleprompter. But I mean, in case I would want to pull up a specific thing, it might give me a bullet list, like in a PowerPoint presentation, like what I'm talking about, right? To remind me that I've got, you know, what slide that's coming up. But I also, sometimes these guys just look down and they just have a list in front of them. Okay, next we'll deal with whatever. But I can't do that. But anyway, so imagine if these were just glass, okay, without the defining rim. And you see people wearing glasses like that, all right? And without this magnification, because these are reading glasses, so they're magnifying, and you could see a kind of a distortion, you see? Well, you wouldn't hardly know I was wearing glasses. You see? You wouldn't know it. And these would be super lightweight, and they just sit on your head. But, you know, or you could be Mr. Cool and wear your Ray-Ban sunglasses. I like these round ones, but they have the classic Ray-Ban, you know, cool dude, like, you know, jazz man type of guy. But I like the round. I think I'd get the round ones. If I had like $299, I'd get them. I'd get a pair because they already have a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? And it's only going to get better. But anyway, so let's just get rid of the Ray-Ban for now. So it's you're either going to be wearing that or this. And if you're in your house, you're going to have an Oculus on. But what Zuckerberg was trying to say in his latest report to his shareholders, all right, where he was basically announcing the Mojo thing and talking about this metaverse, that how he's even going to be reporting that he said that the profits of the company, he's going to be putting a chunk of the profits of the company into this metaverse, all right? The man has just declared war on Apple and the iPhone. And the Android for that matter, okay? This coffee's already gotten just warm. Man, does that piss me off? Now I know there's, and I know, because there's people that are tethered to their phone. But my phone, like I always say, oh me precious. No, my phone's never going away. It's never going away. Yeah, well, nobody gives a shit about you. You know what I mean? Fuck you. And besides, yeah, you want to hang on to a phone, hang on to a phone if that's your thing. But why would you want to? Right? Why would you want to? I mean, let's just read this thing one more time here. Discrete open ear speakers. They open into the ear. All right. Allow you to seamlessly switch between taking a call and ordering a coffee. The 3 built-in microphones capture sound in all directions so you get rich voice and sound quality for calls and videos. Pause a song, take a photo, or record a video in a single touch with on this, let me just get rid of it. Right on the side, you just, like this. See, I have an old pair of, let me disconnect. I've been into this stuff. I just have to go right here. Still here, looking. Where the heck are they? I'm still here. Can't find them. I can't find them. I have the case. Yeah. I'm not bullshitting you. In fact, there's a glass cleaner still in it. Yeah. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened to them. Well, anyway, years ago, and I do mean years ago, like 5 years ago, I bought a pair of video glasses. They were just like cool sun shades, all right, that came in that case and stuff. And they had camera that was like this, audio, and they were charged with you connected it to your computer. They weren't wireless like the Ray-Ban, all right? And you connected it to your computer to download the video or audio. They were like basically secret agent spy glasses is what they were, because they just looked like sunglasses. And I tested them a couple of times. And somehow Apple like disabled them. Like I couldn't, it was an AVI file. So it was for a PC, but I tried it on a PC and they weren't working there either. So there was something, the powers that be, okay, the technocracy, the eye, all-seeing eye, that's the technocracy of the corp. Then the pyramid is the corporatocracy. And you're saying, that's conspiracy theory. You're as bad as that other guy. No, listen to me, man. I'm showing you real stuff. Big pharma exists, okay? They are making hundreds of $billions on this, whatever the heck's going on, all right? Big tech exists. Big data exists. Facebook collects data, okay? Apple Computer exists, all right? The Federal Reserve was printing money, now is just like creating money out of thin air. All right. Afghanistan was a scam from the very start, right? Poppy fields, right? It was a war to keep the poppy field, keep the heroin trade going, because it was run by an organized crime syndicate. And that's at the top. That's part of the power structure of the corporatocracy, is an organized crime syndicate. And all the soldiers that died weren't, you understand what was going on. We could have Moabbed that at any given time. It's the U.S. fucking military, for crying out loud. All right? For all the criticism and stuff that, Trump got from people, he at least said it a couple of times publicly. He said we could have won that war anytime we wanted to in Afghanistan. There, at that time, and now right now, who knows what's going on in the military? They're trying to like turn everybody into soy boys. All right. And teach them this, weird, to have to take classes in being pussies, right? Or whatever. Because they don't care about soldiers anymore, because it's going to be a robotic army anyway. All right. Yeah. So that's that's a different show. I don't want to get into that. All right. So, yeah. This is all real. Like I say, this show is the truth, 30 frames per second. All right. Now, and I'm showing you these things. This isn't like future tech. Okay, this is real tech. You can buy this Ray-Ban thing today. Okay? You can buy this today. All right? Today. All right? And that's only going to get better, like Moore's Law. This isn't, as Facebook was talking about, like, in the 10 years plan and stuff like that. It's not 10 years. They already have this stuff. They're using a lot of this stuff in-house already for their like personal conferences, that they're testing this stuff live. So when they have their board meetings and everybody's sitting down, over at Meta now, right? Facebook, but Meta. These people, there are people who are virtually there. It's not like these people who are using Duo or FaceTime, Apple's FaceTime. Oh, now you can like have FaceTime with lots of people and you could all watch a movie together and listen to music or watch a game. It's like, hey, Tim Cook, that's yesterday's technology. That's Steve Jobs' era. That's Johnny Ives' design. Okay? You have done nothing with that company. Nothing. Oh, you made hundreds of billions of dollars. Yeah. But in other words, from a technological standpoint, you're a failure. You're an abject failure. Improvements in camera quality, improvements in chips and stuff, that's Moore's Law type of thing. You know what I mean? That's not you. All right? It's not even Apple. It's the what we call the march of time. All right? The inevitability, right? Right. It's, these things happen. It's like anything else, okay? It's the evolution of technology. If there's evolution, there's certainly evolution of technology. So the smartphone is dead. But yeah, if there's people there who want to have, oh, me precious, I love me phone. I want my phone. Like these students that if the teacher tries taking it away, that the teacher gets reprimanded, not the student, who's texting while they're in the middle of a test or something. Right? Yeah. So that kind of stuff, yeah, there's a generation there that will just aren't going to accept it. But it's Peter Pan. I never want to grow up. It's like these 40-year-old Peter Pan people. It's like these 10 million jobs that are out there available and nobody wants them. Right? Because they don't want to work. I don't want to grow up. I just want to hang around, protest, try to figure out, make some kind of money on a gig economy. Right? This, that, the other. I wanted to run a YouTube channel and make money on that. It's like, look, there's a certain handful of people that make money. Nobody's buying my stuff and nobody's watching my stuff. Right? It's crazy. But they don't get it. And I'd like to switch and move this thing to some other places like Rumble that bought out locals and stuff like that. But they're all pay to play. I was watching Tim Pool yesterday, and they, and his guys were talking about locals sold out because they, because who knows what Rumble's going to do with locals or something like that. But they're holding back to see what the whole deal is. But the point of the matter is, it's like if you are a known commodity, all right, yeah, you could monetize yourself and make a living doing this kind of stuff. But for everyone else, it's a shot in the dark. And there's no guarantee, you know what I mean? Okay, obviously I am ultimately throttled. They're hiding this video. You literally have to seek this out personally to find it. In other words, it's available and it has a URL, okay, an address on the internet, okay? They're not doing that, but they're hiding it from people on YouTube. The only way you could find this is if you get that URL. So you have to go to my website like Tony Caravan Live or ROCKFLUX.com and click and go to my YouTube channel and then click on this video. Or someone has to share this, which no one ever does. I put it on social media and one or two old friends or whatever from the past have watched it from time to time, but they get bored, and it's not their interest, right? They're hiding this from people who would be interested in this, technology people who are interested in the future, people with a sci-fi sensibility, audiophiles, technophiles, you know what I mean? Futurists, just people who are more interested in life, living, where things are going, the quality of life versus politics and the cult of personality, right? But see, this is being hidden, so the people who who would like to watch this and hear this kind of talk and get involved in it, they don't even know it exists, right? They don't even know it exists. They even come out, the funniest thing is, it's not funny, but it's interesting. They have an area on here that says tags, okay? And it says tags can be useful if content in your stream is commonly misspelled. Otherwise, tags play a minimal role in helping viewers find your stream. So people can't even, in other words, what they're telling you is that people can't even search for what I would put in a tag or my content, and this won't pop up. Do you see? Someone could go like futurist, develop new optical tech, replacement for the smartphone, next gen technology, right? I could search for things like that or whatever, things I talk about, right? I'm not going to show up. The only way I'm going to show up is if somebody tells you, hey, you should check out this guy. Here's a link to his video. Or here's his website. There's a link on his website that goes to this thing. And Rumble's no better with that. You see? And locals, I haven't made anything else. I made a couple dollars, and I think it was accidental. I think Tattoo accidentally spent $3 or something, and I didn't think he was going to do it. Tattoo, I'll refund you the $3. I tried to go, but you're not monetized on locals. There's a friend of mine. They get audio. A lot of these audio clips are from Tattoo's production. And I try, so I'm just talking directly to Tattoo in case he's watching this, or in the future, which he might. You're not monetized on there because I was going to try to follow you and like send you, and because I have like 300 coins supposedly or whatever. I was going to follow you and get you on, do the monthly thing. But otherwise, you were asking for like $30 a month or so. Like your monetization was just out of my budget. I can't afford that much. Like I let people could follow me for like $3, $2 or $3. I think I even lowered it to 2 to 1, like the absolute minimum. But still not a single person followed me, or like, and I have a thing called the tip jar where they could like tip you coin or something. And I even accept Bitcoin on there because Locals was originally founded as an alternative to that other site. Man, I can't think of it. One of the other revenue sites that people use to make money. I had an account on it. I still may, but I think they knocked me off it. But anyway, it was a way for people to monetize who weren't monetized on YouTube or other places to raise money. And anyway, I didn't make any money on that either. So even on the alternative platforms, it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. It's like on the internet. If something goes viral, it just happens. Otherwise, the major players, it's like big tech. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's all this, that, the other. But unless you have a following or you're an established thing now, that's why I say the American dream is over because it's a crapshoot. It's not like you can't. It is possible that a video could go viral and you could be an overnight sensation, right? It happens. It does happen, right? But it's the exception to the rule. It's a crap, it's like, and there's all these people thinking, oh, that's what I'm going to do. It's like, well, don't waste your money. Anyway, let me get back into the facts here because we're already an hour into the show and I haven't finished this and gotten to some of the other things I want to talk about. So you put this thing on. Now, unlike the Ray-Ban thing, okay, which is more of a video, I like the idea that I could walk around, in other words, the reason I think that defeats the iPhone in many ways is that I would like to walk around and be able to just be wearing these sunglasses in the summer, walking down the street, talking freely, seeing something interesting and just, either snapping a picture or voicing it, saying, hey, take a picture, snap a picture or video that, right? Because see, that's the other element that's going to be added to this, if not already. voice control. See, this is where all these things are going to merge. These assistants, all right, that they have, everybody's got one. So you're going to voice it, so it's hands-free. And that's what Zuckerberg was trying to tell his stockholders. He was saying, our goal is to eliminate as much of the hardware as possible. And they're sinking billions of dollars in this, and they're already into it. And like I say, look at this thing. Look at this eyeglass thing here. This is already a year and a half old. All right? So you imagine where they're going with this, right? And a lot of people, I looked at Elon Musk, it's like Elon Musk wants to drill a hole in your fucking head. You're right. And put this stuff in, right? But he doesn't but they don't understand that the next gen technology is that's like silly, to drill a hole in your head for somebody who has a handicap. I'm all for that. Pardon me. Whatever that was. In other words, if it could help somebody walk or do something, or somebody with, like I say, ALS or some kind of disease, or help someone see who's, and things like that, okay, that's a medical procedure. And so I see Musk's, Neuralink technology as a medical procedure and a medical technology. All right. So I'm not downplaying it. I think they should proceed with it. And I think he should be more honest, and he should, and they really should promote it and put it in as that's where the direction they should take it. And I think they might be better because they're trying hard to recruit people, and their numbers are way down as far as the amount of employees. Like if you want a job right now, you can apply. You can go work for Neuralink. All right. They have like a lot of job openings. All right. And they're just looking for people who are like, free thinkers, intelligent people who can make things happen. They don't care. You don't have to have a degree in engineering or something like that. I mean, they would love to have some of those key people from industry come over. But they just need minds, really intelligent minds that could work out problem solving type of people. Yeah. You want a job, do it, And there's jobs like that all over. But this is the thing. But anyway, just to explain what I've seen with this thing, okay, is that imagine having that contact lens on, and like I said, you can close with this thing, so you can lay down on your couch, sofa, whatever you call it, a chair somewhere, and close your eyes, and it would be like virtual reality. Okay? All right? But when you open your eyes, you're seeing the real world. It's augmented reality. But it doesn't have to be augmented reality. It's not like this thing's always on and there's all this things that's going to interfere with you driving down the road. All right? This is just going to give you information you need that you would normally get from your cell phone. So instead of having to look over your cell phone for maps, this thing is going to show you where to turn, right? Or show you a thing, tell you that, show you the temperature, show you, the distance between you and some object or whatever, or all kinds of other things, where that a restaurant is and what it may, you could. So the idea is, and imagine then an in-ear piece, okay? Not an earbud. Fuck those. See, Apple is so behind the times. I actually watched this guy, like Apple Circle or all these Apple lovers, right? And I used to be an Apple evangelist years ago when Steve Jobs was around, because he was producing, cutting edge breakthrough technologies, right? Or spearheading it at least. Wozniak was the brains, and Johnny Ive was the industrial engineer, and the team at Apple was incredible. All right. But they were just like pushing the limits, with that classic one more thing. All right. So what you have to understand is that there are people that are still doing that. It's just that they're no longer at Apple because they know Apple's like a toy company, right? It's just a money-making thing. It's selling the iPhone. It's like it's selling iMacs. It's like their big deal is it's like, look they're available now in these pastel colors. Do you see what I mean? They're selling to a very like weird audience, right? And yeah, they have this powerful chip, right? But how many people really use, the computers, like the pro type of thing? That's not a mass audience, That's not the future of it. I mean, yeah, I'd love to have one, but it costs so much money. So it's like really high-end, super high-end professional people. For the wealthy, right? It's not, it's not everyday tech. And same with the iPhone even. They're like so expensive. And their new laptops with those chips are real expensive. So it's not an everyday thing. When the iPod first came out, the small iPod and stuff, excuse me. Sorry. Try talking at 5:29 a.m. And try talking fast because, despite the fact that this is a 2-hour show, I end up running over because there's so much stuff I'm trying to get through on this. Anyway, they're not. So Apple is making money and probably will make money for another year to 18 months. The smartphone probably has, like I've said before, has about a year to 18 months before it becomes a thing that hangers on hang on to. Right? Because there's always people like that won't let go of something. And then eventually, it'll just fade. It'll be a thing it'll be a market since they'll have X amount. As long as there's enough people that they can turn a profit on it, the device will go. But make no mistake about it. Apple is working on Apple Glass and Apple's working on AR, augmented reality too. All right? They're just not putting it out. They're trying to milk. That's why they're pricks. See, Steve Jobs, he wouldn't have done that. Steve Jobs would have beat not Mojo, but he would have beat Facebook to the punch this fall. He would have said, now one more thing. And yeah, he would have had new chips in his laptops because, people it's a computer age. People use a laptop and they use desktops too. It's not the end of computing. All right. But he would have said, and there's one more thing. And then he would have came out and it would have been like the contact lens or Apple glasses instead of like the Ray-Ban thing or something like that. But instead, what Apple's doing is they're milking this. And there's an iPhone 14 that's going to be coming out next year. Do you see? They're still, because they're making hundreds of billions of dollars on this, and they still have people. They're trying to do like what the music industry's doing and entertainment industry. It's just like remakes, right? And, everything's the same. A formulaic stuff. Let's just keep rehashing and selling these people the same old shit, right? Because they don't know any better. They're disrespecting you is what they're doing. And you're going, yeah, well, I like my phone. I like it. It's, yeah, but you haven't, you don't understand what technology without it would be like. What it would be like to just walk through the earth and have access to all those things. without the hardware, without something that's basically lowering your sperm count, right? Or giving you a brain tumor. All right. Or all these things, it's like climate crisis people I'm sure all have they're all probably Apple type people. It's like, all these 5G, 4G signals and Wi-Fi and all this kind of crap, Yeah. No, this device is passe. This has a year, 18 months at best. Okay. And then these things will be taking over. All right. And that's it. And like I said, you can get these things now. So you have to imagine a world where you're either wearing shades, glasses, or if you're, adventurous, putting in one of these Mojo contact lenses with an in-ear, like a hearing aid. This is what they have now. They've had them for years. In other words, just stick it in the ear. It's not like hanging out. You hardly know it's there. That's their whole selling point to people, because people are vain, right? And people won't even know you have this hearing aid. They have that stuff for people who have a hard of hearing. So you're gonna put in this thing, and you'll be able, it's not gonna be in your inner ear. You take it out and put a Q-tip in there and clean your ear or whatever. Though I understand that these in-ear pieces that only have to be taken out once a month or so, and you can shower with them and all that stuff. I've looked into some of that stuff, these other things that they have. So it'll probably be something like that. So you could be in the shower and you could get a call, right? Or you could be making love to, Pamela Anderson. But, whatever the case may be, the point is, this is where it's headed. Technology's there. It's, this Mojo Vision thing, like I say, this Business Wire promo press release is from from February of 2020. It's a year and a half ago. All right. So imagine it. That's the world. That's where we're headed. That's where we're going. So, the sooner people wake up to that, the better. Because, it's going to be life-changing, right? And so augmented reality and virtual reality, it's going to be, VR/AR or AR/VR. Those two are together because you'll have the choice to switch back and forth from both of those. And you'll switch back and forth from both of those through voice. Okay? That's the cool part about it. Now, you'll be able to, when you're wearing something like this, you'll be able to watch a movie as if it's as if you're in a movie theater. All right? So it's a computer. Your eye becomes the computer. And like I say, you can close your eyes and it's VR. You open your eyes and it's AR. All right? And then you've got surround sound with these in-ear earpieces. And of course, you have access to all your apps and stuff. Everything's voice controlled. Right? And that's how it works. And so, it's just fascinating, I mean, at a time when, the sun's exploding and, all that kind of shit. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah, it's getting near that season. But before I get into that, let's do the music thing of the day. Steve Forbert. A lot of people don't know Steve Forbert. Now, I've got a daily photo of, a Forbert photo. Oh, let's see, it's back here. I should put this up here. There's a picture of me. There's a picture of me on stage with Steve Forbert, receding hairline and all. That was from a show I did for him, and that's just me introducing him, basically. And he's a great guy and great musician, and But anyway, this album, Alive on Arrival, is one of his earlier albums. I mean, he looks like a boy in this. Now he's an old man now, aren't we all? But if you've never listened to Steve Forbert, and like I always say, like I'm into, I mean, these voice assistants and music services. I know there's certain people like they, think it's like they don't like it. All right. And, it's like, but you have to get used to it, and they will improve too. And so what I'm saying, if you happen to have a voice assistant, or if you're a subscriber to a music service, say play Steve Forbert music, okay? And on those things, I don't know if you know this, but like if you have like Echo Dot and stuff like that, you can when you're playing that, you can tell it to skip to the next song, or you could open up the app on your phone if because we're still in the iPhone era, or the smartphone, Android phone. And you could pull up a thing where it actually shows you the song being played, and it's got like a, go back, pause, or skip next thing right on there. And it also shows your song history and stuff. So like stuff that you've played, or, so what song it is and stuff like that, if you want to get it or whatever. So anyway, early Steve Forbert, later Steve Forbert. He's just he's a talented, kind of under the radar for some people, but for a lot of people know who he is. I mean, he's had a couple of hits, not number ones, but I mean he's been played on the radio throughout the whole, throughout the world, throughout the country. He tours, has toured, and I'm just saying, check out Steve Forbert. I think, this album is a good album. This, some early Forbert, but some of his, albums after this were just as good. And so what I'm saying is I just pulled this out just to show you, just to have a visual of it, and just to let you know that I've like I said, I had him had him in concert once. But the idea is that, look, turn yourself on to new music. It's like, there's a lot out there. Everybody's into the same old shit. And it it's like, I was just looking at myself, and it's like I was like one of these football players that has no neck or something. That was really weird. And I got the hat. I got the flat Coors Light hat on, which is green. The colorization here is so way off. This is a green shirt, and this is a green hat. It's like the hat looks black. But anyway, yeah, featured artist today is Steve Forbert. So it's more featured artist than necessarily featured album, but this is just an example of it. I personally, if I were you, if you're in a music service, I would just go and play through some Steve Forbert stuff. You might not like everything. These aren't albums in the sense of, like I was talking about, Tumbleweed Connection, which takes you back to the Wild West. You know what I mean? Or this isn't Close to the Edge by Yes, where you're on this like spatial journey, or even Dark Side of the Moon or some kind of thing like that. This isn't an album. He's not an album guy in that sense. He's a songsmith, songwriter, singer, songwriter, And so you might not like every song. That's why I'm saying if you have a music service and say play Steve Forbert music, and you hear something that just doesn't, strike your fancy, just say skip that song and listen to the next one, or just go online if you have a music service and just, play through some samples of it or whatever. But he's worth checking out. He's an artist that is kind of not, hasn't gotten as much recognition as I think he deserves. And he's a great guy. And I met him and, I listen to his music and always have a couple of Steve Forbert songs, in the mix somewhere. Like I say, on this computer, I doubt if I don't seem to have anything on this one. Let's see, Steve. No, obviously. Of course not. Anyway, I am going to update my sound. Now that Halloween is over, I'm going to get into some,
This calls for some big scratching.
I've got to get some new...
Wait, here comes a brother I know for sure can rap.
But anyway, check out Steve Forbert. You won't be disappointed. He's got some really cool tunes. And, what can I say? Worth listening to. And if you have one of these things, just say, hey, play music by. And when you hit a song that doesn't, you don't like, say skip to the next one. These things, I don't get paid to promote these things. This is an Echo Dot type of thing. I have one of these in my bedroom. But, it's nice because you could set alarms. You could, it tells you the weather, the time, you just lay back in bed, and all this kind of stuff it does. And it'll play music, like all night long. It'll control things, smart devices. If you have an order or something, you could say, where's my stuff? If you're ordering things on, Amazon and stuff, and it'll tell you, like, when it's delivered, it'll like a little light will shine up, and it'll tell you that it was just delivered, so you can go to your porch and get it before somebody steals it or something. There's just a lot to these things. And so you have to understand that all this technology that's starting to like come together, right, is signaling the end of this, right? They're no longer going to be necessary to carry these things around. This or these weird earbuds, all this like, this goofy, like I say. And, I was never any, great fan of Mark Zuckerberg and, Facebook. I quit Facebook a long time ago. My account is active because I post a link to these videos on it. That's it. And it's worth it too, because occasionally I get 1 or 2 views from that, right? Because I've seen some likes and they were from people that I like knew, in the past. So that's the only reason I do it. All right. So it's like, I'm no Facebook, evangelist, fanatic and somebody who like really pushing this stuff. But he's got the right idea. Right now, Meta is, as far as I'm concerned, and it's hard to believe it's coming out of my mouth. Meta is the most progressive division of a company, the metaverse that they're trying to create, to me is the true next generation. And while a lot of people are saying, it's going to take 5 or 10 years for this stuff to be, realized, it's like, well, maybe widespread, right? But this thing's going to be adapted. The early adopters of this will be within the next year to 18 months. This is coming at you like a freight train, like I say. And anyone who's a fool, who was foolish enough to buy an iPhone, and anyone who even thinks about getting an iPhone 14, next year you do not want an iPhone. Next year you want the next generation, of whoever, whatever company, whether it's Ray-Ban or somebody else. You want the next generation of this, you know, or if you're bold enough, you want this, because it'll be 3 years next year. All right. So these things are going to, you know, that they're going to have that stuff pretty well perfected, and any bugs that it has, those bugs will be gone. So this tech's coming at you fast and furious. And it's it's what it's all about. You know, it's what we've all been waiting for, right? I mean, I am so annoyed. Like, I'll give you an example. Yesterday I did a show, ran over. It was like 2 hours and 14 minutes or something like that, or I don't know. It was long. And you see, I'm talking nonstop, right? Moment I get off the phone, a moment if I get off the air, phone rings. I'm talking to somebody, and and they're on the phone for about an hour. While I'm talking to them, another call comes in, like an hour into that phone call, and I'm talking to, and it was someone else, and they wanted to talk about something, and they kept, and so it was like another. I'm looking up at the clock, and it's getting to be like 9:30, you know, and then while I was talking to them, then the phone rang again, and it was a third person, and I hadn't fed the birds, you know, which may sound like a meaningless thing, but it was like 10 o'clock, and I get up at 3 or 4 in the morning. Okay, you're talking 6 hours. I was talking for 6 fucking hours. And I was stuck in this chair because they called on this. You know, I picked it up and on this, and I'm using the speakerphone on my, you know, smartphone. I hadn't even wrapped up this whole thing yet because there's the whole process of closing this down and then trying to get the link out on various social media platforms, hoping that some random bastard might find it. Right? My chair is shrinking. It's ridiculous stuff. Get rid of my no neck look. So anyway, so I would love to have been able to just, I like talking to people. I would love to have been able to just get up and walk. You know, I had the glasses on, or if I wore the contact or the ear thing or whatever, even if it was just the ear thing, because they don't need to see anything. And I would love to have been able to go and just carry on this conversation and had done things because I needed to eat something because I was the timing between the pill. You know, I wanted to be 2 hours, eat in 2 hours in between, just as a safety measure, right? And, you know, that kind of thing. And go about all this business. So instead, I was like, the entire morning was consumed in talking one way or another, either doing this show or talking to like 3 people. Then I had to go about I tried to cook some healthy meal because I'm trying to like fight this thing off. And now that I found that I'm a day and a half short of pills, I don't know. And I can't call that frickin' doctor. She's like she's a psycho, right? And I don't have an appointment with my own doctor until Wednesday. But these pills run out tomorrow morning, a day and a half early. And I don't have any appointment to have any extraction or anything like that. And I don't think the thing is like done yet. I think I needed at least the full 10 days. So the pharmacist shorted me the pills, and they're not going to believe me. Like, I'll call down there and say, hey, you shorted me some pills. Right? And it was rushed. It was a rush, and they were crazy busy that day. I think I told that in one of the day I came back from there. Because the receptionist wouldn't stay on the phone. She like left the order on on the pharmacist answering machine. And I had to get somebody from the pharmacy to check the messages on the answering machine. All right. And then they checked it, found the message, and then I go down there and they were still checking it, and then they found it and said, okay. And they were rushed while I was waiting, and there was like a big line of people waiting for prescriptions. And then they gave me the pills. So they the count, they were so busy, somebody miscounted, which is serious actually. But I have no proof of that. And they wouldn't necessarily, why would they believe me? You see what I mean? But I mean, it's a antibiotic. It's not like I'm after a narcotic or a pain pill. You know what I mean? Why would I lie about that? And who wants to take the damn, the sooner the regimen is over, the better. But there's no way, like I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I think I'm 7 pills short. Yeah. I thought that didn't look like there was a lot of pills in that thing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm destined to die from this tooth. I mean, I get this psycho-random dentist. It's like a surrealistic nightmare. They fuck up my mouth for good for the rest of my life. And then they send me this letter. And now I'm realizing that they shorted me, 7 frickin', the 7 pills. And the pharmacist is going to go like, we didn't know, we wouldn't do that, right? Right? It's weird, man. So I don't know what to do. This whole thing has been crazy. I don't want to talk about that because I have to call around dentists and stuff today, and I don't know. Like I said before, I've had a cancer operation and stuff like that, and I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, if I get a blood test back and it said, hey man, you got 6 months to live, or something like that, I'm not the type of guy who's going to freak out. I'm going to go, okay, guess what? I'm going to look around. I'm going to sell some crap that, that I normally would want to hang on to, accumulate some money, almost like leaving Las Vegas type of thing, but not to that extreme. And I'm going to get some cash, and I would just spend the next 6 months, partying out, life is good. I've had a good life and blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to just like keel over 2 days from now because of some freaking dentist and a pharmacist shorted me on an antibiotic. Right? You know what I mean? The absurdity of it. And that's why I'm saying, so this surrealistic nightmare is becoming more of a nightmare. It's becoming a freaking nightmare. But anyway, 'tis the season. The sun's going to explode anyway. It's getting really fucking cold. That's the pieces of metal that, are responsible for this whole thing. Yeah. But anyway. So, I like this season. And everybody complains, like people always complain that they're like right after well, first of all, I used to complain about this stuff. Not complain, but just, be critical. I would be like, and they do it, and it's, commercialism. But this is the world we live in today, right? And so it always annoyed me, put it that way. I used to be very annoyed that it was Halloween, the 1st of September, Labor Day, once Labor Day hit, right? And then they turn Labor Day into some kind of patriotic holiday. It's like the holidays we have in this country, like nobody knows what they are, right? Nobody knows that the 4th of July is about independence from England. Okay, number one. So that totally mistaken, right? So that's turned into some kind of like military holiday. It's not. That's Veterans Day, right? Armed Forces Day. You know, those are our Memorial Day is not a military one necessarily either. It's partial, but Memorial Day is also to remember your parents, grandparents, and loved ones that have died, right? But they turn that into like some kind of military thing. That's a military-industrial complex propaganda. And then Labor Day, they got flags and stuff and trying to do that too. No. Memorial Day is for everyone who's come before us and died, and for us to go to the cemeteries and basically pay our respects, homage to those who have died, right? And have come before us. And that includes those who served in the military. But the Memorial Day is primarily for all of the people who have come before us, including the military, okay? Veterans Day is for veterans. Armed Forces Day is for armed forces. Now, Independence Day is Independence from England Day, okay? All right? So that's, totally misunderstood and whatever. And Labor Day is a day of is a day to say, for all you workers, you poor bastards, wage slaves, take a day off, relax. It's the end, kind of unofficial end of summer, right? Chill, have a frickin' backyard picnic. Instead, the wage slaves have to work on Labor Day because there's Labor Day sales and specials at all the stores, and Labor Day, which was designed as a day of rest, or dedicated, since there's all these holidays dedicated to every other frickin' person out there, was one for the people who were these wage slaves, low wage earners, right? That made, that really kind of drive the country, right? Without the, the waitress, without the, the busboy, without the cook, without the chambermaid, without the person, the cleaning person, without, the person doing all the crap work, the retail salesperson, right? The guy sweeping up, mopping up at the store. Without them, the society wouldn't function. So Labor Day is a day for them to be able to have a day off, right? And to relax. And it's their day. And it's a day for us to give thanks to, these people that work for meager wages and who do all this crap work, right? But instead, on Labor Day, it's Labor Day sales. And these stores are open, we'll be open early on Labor Day for our Labor Day specials, right? And then, like I say, and then nobody has a clue that independence is independence from England, These things just annoy me, So anyway, it used to annoy me. So Labor Day comes, and they don't. So and it's Labor Day specials, and then the moment Labor Day's over, then it's already they're starting to pre-sell Halloween. Now I know there's people out there that are just Halloween crazy. All right, so September and October is all Halloween. Now, Halloween's over, and I've got Santa Claus here and says, 'tis the season. Because from now on, because they really downplay Thanksgiving. Do you ever notice that one too? Like, what's the problem with Thanksgiving? Right? There's like this concerted effort to just downplay Thanksgiving, which you think Thanksgiving would be a big holiday. Forget about some, pilgrims and all that crap, okay? The idea is Thanksgiving was a day to give thanks and for families to get together, right? And have a tradition, a human tradition, the tradition of banquet, kind of thing, a feast, the traditional feast. And that was this idea that has, you could go back in history and see this, right? These kinds of celebrations. Most holidays we have, even the religious holidays, are all adaptations of things that go back thousands and thousands of years, and just over the years have been adapted by different groups, but the basis of it, of Thanksgiving, is Thanksgiving. Okay? Forget about some pilgrim thing and some, Norman Rockwell painting. Okay? That's not it. That's like this Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever. What the fuck? I forget which one they wanted. Oh, Columbus Day. Right. Yeah. Like, who gives a shit about that? All right? All right? There's too many friggin' holidays, right? But that's, not Thanksgiving. That's like a real thing for families to get together, and this feast idea is banquet, this idea of come together and celebrate life, family, right? And give thanks, for the good things, right? But they really like that. That's like totally, Thanksgiving's not a big deal. In fact, stores would never be, everything was closed on Thanksgiving. You'd have the Macy's Day Parade in the morning, and then, but I mean, now it's like Black Friday specials on Thanksgiving, right? It's totally commercialized. So Christmas, 'tis the season. What I'm trying to say here is that it's Christmas season. Let's face the facts. Just like after Labor Day, it's Halloween. It's like there's certain things you have to accept. You try to argue with it, and so you just go with the flow and deal with the fact that this is a part of our culture. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a family. I mean, I have a family, some relatives and stuff, but they live so far away. And my mother's in like lockdown down in Florida, even though they say like Florida is one of these free states. She's in lockdown. And I don't have a car. I'm not going, and I have a relative that's a couple hours away, or almost not even a couple hours away, like an hour and a half or two away. And I have some other relatives that are about 3.5, 4 hours away from where I live, who I haven't seen in years. But I don't have a car, and we don't have mass transportation in this country, except in major markets. So it's like you can't get, you can't take a train. I once tried to take a bus. Well, I did it. I took a bus to a relative's house. I don't know. This is like 15 years ago. At a different time, a different place or whatever. And the place, if I would have driven, it would have taken about an hour and 45 minutes. Okay? To drive. At that particular time, from the location I was at that time. I got a bus because a couple of relatives were getting together at that same location. And so it's like, all right, well, you should go. Right? And I wanted to go. So I figured, okay, I'm going to get on a bus. I'll get on the frickin' bus. So I managed to figure out some kind of way of getting on this bus, arranging this bus ride. So I got on a bus. It took me fucking 14 hours to get there. But if I would have driven by car, it would have taken an hour and a half. And the weirdest part about it, on the way home, it was like 14 hours, like 12 or 14 hours. But the bus broke down a couple hours away from where I was on the way home. That, because I stayed overnight. So they had to send for another bus. So not only are you burned out from being in a bus for 10 hours, I mean a smelly fucking bus, it's the worst, the most uncomfortable seats in the world, blah, blah, blah. It was cold. The bus broke down. The heat was off. All right.
So we're freezing the people who are in the bus, waiting for this bus company to send another bus out to us to take us the 2 more hours back. And then I had to get from this bus terminal a cab or something like that, which was like in that area, took me like I had to stand around and freeze like crazy for an hour waiting to get a cab ride. That's what it's like in like most places in America. And that's another thing these like elitists don't like really understand. Or like sometimes people say, well, yeah, why don't you, come and visit or something? If you can find transportation, it'd take you days. I've from friends who are about 45 minutes away from me up the road, because I used to live up there at this place, this other borough. It was a borough, I guess. I lived there for a while, published a magazine, did some stuff, right? 45 minutes tops to get there if you have a car. If you take a bus, it's like the same deal. It's like a 14-hour freaking ride. I think one way you can get there in like 12 hours, but the other way you would like have to stay overnight somewhere because the bus doesn't leave. Like it's not like you have to go to it like reroutes you to a city, and then at that city you have to catch a bus to that place, but they have no direct route. And they've done that, yet there's a train station at that place and a train station here. And the train from there comes right through here. And I've already seen Amtrak cars on it because it's down the street. There's a tunnel that the train passes over, but it's mostly freight train, But there's a couple of times I've looked, and I don't know if they were just moving the cars on the freight train or if there were people in it. But I actually saw that there were like Amtrak cars there. So the idea is that if they wanted to. But the thing is, what they've done in that other city is they turned that train station into like the train station restaurant, like they've done in a lot of towns. And I always say blame that on the car dealers and people on city councils and stuff like that. Is because they don't want people to be able to leave their town. It's like this place I'm in now. I can get to the next city fairly cheap, but it's a major city, and it only take about an hour or so to get there by train. But I couldn't come back till the next day. They don't have like a train that leaves in the morning, comes back at night, or leaves at night. The train basically would leave at night and come back in the morning. So you can't just like commute. And that's intentional. Yet there's constantly trains coming in and out and whatever, but they just don't have a schedule where you can do that. So it's just another weird thing. But anyway, 'tis the season is what I'm saying is, and you know what? Go with it. Because it's a festive season. So in the coming months, these 2 months, November and December, why not? It's the end of a year. It's been a sucky 2 years. For me, this year is the last 3 years have been a surrealistic nightmare, but I've managed to get by and have a few laughs and stuff like that. So whatever happens, I plan on either going out with a bang or at least having some fun, in the end, ring out the old, ring in the new. Start now, November. It's the first day of November, so what? Let it be, let it be. And, the people who are afraid of these words, the holidays, you know what? Screw that. It's the holidays. Yeah. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you could call them any one individual and you could be involved in that and wish somebody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that kind of stuff. All right. Happy Thanksgiving and everything. I'm all for it. All right. But, the other thing is happy holidays, man, because, the holiday season, it's the holiday season. It's the holiday season. You know, it's the holiday season. So let's get into it. Get into the holiday spirit. You know, go with the flow. Why not? We should celebrate. Let's just, the idea is like, so what? Let Halloween be a candy dress up, crazy, spooky, fun, goofy thing that lasts for 2 months. And let Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and if you're in Kwanzaa, well, it was an invented thing, but if you're into it, and then into New Year's, let it all happen, and they are the holidays, plural. Okay. So like, just celebrate it. It's the end of the year, 2 months, I leave my Christmas lights on all year long on the front porch because they're solar lights. And the way I've got them connected, it'd be a pain in the ass to like, and the last time I took them down, I like shorted them out and I had to buy a new set. So I've had this set up for 2 years. They still light up, but we haven't had sun in a while. So it's kind of fucked up. Anyway, it's 6:13. It's coming up on about 1:55.
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
Well, like I said, today, unfortunately, I have to make like 4 calls to 4 dentists and see if they, if they have any expertise in tooth extractions. Otherwise, I have to deal with some take legal recourse to try to save my life, because if I can't get, someone who can do the job that needs to be done, I'm going to have to get the law involved, legal people involved in it, because I'm not going to just allow some woman to kill me, right? Because she doesn't, want to do something. I can't. I'm not going to be a death by dentistry. You know what I mean? That I'm not going that route. So I have to deal. That's what I'm going to do today. So.
Good morning.
Wow, that's loud in my ear. I don't know if it was that loud in your ear, but it's hard to say. But
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and visit TonyCaravanLive.com, RockFlux.com. I have this TonyCaravanLive.locals.com site. Don't know what's going on with this Rumble takeover. We'll have to see if we hear more information about that. But my videos are posted on all these things, and you can get my latest book, Then What? It's a great gift. Great solar stuff. There's some good gifts there. And, of course, Freedom is Fun, Game Over shirts, all that stuff. They're great. They're great holiday gifts. All right? And it's the holiday season. La-dee-da, la-dee-da-dee-da.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old